Yes, welcome. Usually an honor, always and joy for me to be here to actually have this chat. And today I happen to show up with, a full brain dumping session, that we are going to have. But I know that whatever it is that we are going to discuss, number one, I know it is timely, and I know that for so many of us that have been struggling with saying yes to our call, saying yes to our assignment, it is something that is really going to unearth a lot of the truths and the myths and the things that we really need to know. And for the people that have already said yes to their assignments and their callings, at least it will be an affirmation, a confirmation of what it is that you must be able to step out to embrace, to be able to accept, to understand, and to unleash in this season. Okay, so in case or if this message blesses you, please share it with another person so that we can become a wholesome community of people that are committed to transforming, not only just transforming our lives, yes, transforming our lives, developing our lives, because we cannot help another person or do it for another person if we have not yet done it with ourselves. So this is a growth journey for us, but again, it's also a purpose journey for us to be able to transform other people and to be able to help so many people in the world. And remember, for so long we have said that we are not on this earth to just, sit dormant, to just survive, to just sink in our sorrow and, just survive day to day in our depression. We are on this earth for a purpose, and if there is a purpose for why we are on this earth, that means we are meant to thrive, we are meant to flourish, we are meant to live our best lives. And indeed, God has promised that best life. So if He has promised that best life and you're not living that best life, that means there is a discrepancy between what you believe and what God has set for you. Okay, so that means that you need to be able to work on your end to be able to get into the promises of God. I remember yesterday we were talking with Tim, and we were talking about the principles being so vivid that God has laid certain principles, and minus those principles, we are not going to get to the promises. Yes, God has promised so many things, but again, if we cannot look at the principles that He has said and say that, you know what, I am not a son of man and I am not a liar, I cannot, you cannot reap what you have not sowed, that means it's a principle that you need to sow in order to reap. That I will bless the works of your hands. That means you really need to work in order for God to have something to bless. Okay, so that means even for us, the people that are called, not only for us but for other people, we need to be able to know that there is a principle called an assignment, a calling on your life that you must heed, that you must say yes to, that not just saying yes to, but to understand, to embrace, and to unleash in the world in order to tap into the promises of God that He has promised for your life. All right, so all your fulfillment is tied up in your assignment. The happiness that you're looking for, the prosperity that you're looking for, the acceleration that you're looking for, the elevation that you're looking for is all tied up in your assignment. And we all have different assignments. We don't have the same assignments. It's possible that, by the way, your assignment is not even in speaking to people, but your assignment is in living your life the way it is supposed to be so that others can be able to look at it. It may be your assignment is in the business. Maybe your assignment, because we have so many mountains of influence, your assignment is in education. Your assignment is in the government. Your assignment is in the health and wellness sector. Your assignment, it's very possible that it's in the business, in the business sector. Your assignment could be anywhere, okay? But I need you to be able to plug somewhere and say, okay, this is it. This is where I belong. Aside from just having a job, there is a mandate for me, and there's something more. I feel there's something more I can do aside from just holding a job. So that is what I want us to be able to talk about now. What I'm sharing today, we shared before, and I will be able to, if you've not yet watched that message, please go ahead on the YouTube and be able to watch that message. We called it Turn Yourself In. It's like a say yes. God has given you an assignment. He's looking for you. You are needed. You are wanted. He's, for so long. And so if you can only turn yourself in, because it's a matter of time, whether you say yes today or you say yes 5 years from now, you will eventually say yes. to this call? So can you say yes now? So we went through that together with the people in the mentorship, and it was quite awesome. But I took time to actually rethink and sit down and do some brain dumping. That is why we are going to go through some of the things that we are going to go through, because part of what we actually did then was to explain what your purpose is, and we defined what purpose is. Purpose is a contribution that you have been created to make. Okay, now for most of us, we stop at that. But there is a deeper, or it goes way deeper, all the years that I've spent, you know, mentoring and training coaches, speakers, business people, media people. I've discovered that it is in 3 areas, okay? Your contribution by who you become, because you must become something. That is why I usually invite people for mentorship, that if you must become something, that means you must know what you must become in order to become it. So that means your character has to tweak, has to change. That is why I usually take the people in the mentorship through the first session that we call the mindset formulation. The mindset formulation is actually contributes, let me say, 98% to the success of anyone that is going to do anything in this world. Now, the 2% can be your skill, the 2% can be anything else that you add on to the mindset, but for as long as you have a right mindset. So who you become changes your character. Who you become, it shows up in how you show up. Okay, your presence on earth. Who you become is that person that has been perfected, that is being, you know, perfected, is in progress to become, you know, the world changer, the transformer, the business person that affects others or influences others in so many ways, the influencer that helps so many people in so many ways. So we said it's about who you become, it's about what you do, because there is a specific thing that you must be able to do. For the people that come for the mentorship, we usually talk about nailing your niche, understanding your niche. That is the backbone for anything. You realize that this applies to every sector. Even if you are in education, you realize that you have to have that particular thing that you're going for teachers training, but you are more interested in biology, you're more interested in chemistry, you're more interested in English as a language, you're more interested in literature. So you are majoring in something. You are not just doing it vastly, or you're not doing it everything. You are majoring in something. So that means you have to major in something. You have to be known for something. Even people that have businesses, you realize that you'll have so many things, but there will be this one product that singles you out, that you're interested in, that you're putting mostly, let me say 90% of your investment in that. Others are just, you know, just to stick around, but you have that one thing that you are really known for. So there are people that are known for cosmetics. There are people that are known for, let me say, salons, I mean, just hair, you know, and someone just capitalizes on hair installation. So you realize that our purpose is not just about becoming public speakers and coaches. Our purpose goes deeper. It is the contribution, why we were created to contribute, okay? But how do we contribute this? By who we become, what we do, what you are measuring in and saying, this is what I am actually doing, and then how you actually do it. And I said that we are all going to use different formats. We are not going to do the same thing. And I've told us so many times, let's be authentic. Let's embrace our authenticity. Let's understand what we must be able to do. And this actually takes me to David, okay? David, because most of my examples, you realize, will always be Bible related, because, I mean, I'm a Bible reader. I love studying the Bible, and I get most of my lessons actually from the Bible, okay? So look at David. He goes out to the battle to go and take food to the brothers, and he goes, he's asking them, but you know, the man that kills Goliath, this man, the uncircumcised Philistine that is actually, blaspheming the army of God, what will be done to him? What will be given to him? So he's asking all these questions, and when they discovered that he actually wanted to go to war, or he wanted to involve himself in the battle, you realize that the first thing was, let's give you the armor, let's give you the the clothes that you must be able to put on. Let's give you, as in, this is what a fighter must look like. And so they're giving him all these things, Saul's things, and they're so heavy. And he says, no, I don't think this will actually cut it. I bet they were even giving him swords, and they were giving him whatever it is that they were using, or spears, whatever it is that they were using. And in his heart of hearts, I think he was like, you know what, I can't even lift this, I can't even do this, so I am going to abandon all this. I am going to use the stones that I picked somewhere in my sling, and I'm not coming and I'm not coming towards him, or I'm not coming against him, just as David, the little David, the one that does not have the stature. Remember when they went to his house to even anoint, like they didn't see anyone important in him, because he was in the background, tending to the sheep. And so there were others that were big, they were tall, and so they thought, these are the guys, these should be the guys. So he didn't seem like the guy. He was as small, with his sling, with his stones. And so he says, I am coming against you in the name of the Lord. And so you realize that by him putting away the sword, the armor, and everything that was given to him, most of us, if you're given the armor, then you're thinking, this is what other people are putting on, so I should be able to do it. This is how other people are showing up on Instagram, so I should be able to do it. This is how what everyone is saying on Instagram. This is what everyone is saying on YouTube. This is what everyone is saying. So we take the bandwagon and we do what everyone else is doing, not knowing that we should be totally different. Not how other politicians do things, that you must be able to do your own things. What is your message? What is the pain on your heart? What burden do you have? Is it towards a girl child? Is it towards corruption? Is it towards, the structures and how the government is running? What is your message? Must you go and just swim in the sameness of the same message, that, oh, this is how everyone is selling in their business? This is how. No, it's possible that you will hear the same script, the same recycled script over and over again. This is how you do it, and this is how you do it. Can you also try your own things? Can you also try and say, can I try this? Can I tweak this? Can I adjust this? Okay? And we talked about adjusting. And we say that, by the way, for most of us, the reason as to why we hold on to what we know, it's because it's according to the plans. It's what is easy. It's what other people are doing. But what does Proverbs 19 tell us? It says that many are the plans of man, 19:21, many are the plans of a man, or the man plans a lot in his mind, but the plan of God, the purpose of God prevails, okay? The purpose of God for your life prevails. So that means we must be able to align with the purpose of God, and not just align with anyone's purpose. I coach so many people, I mentor so many people, I have trained so many people, and the first thing I tell them is, I am not training you to be me, I am training you to be you. I'm just giving you the skills, I'm giving you the basics, and you are going to get a lot more. You're going to research a lot more, you're going to read a lot more, you're going to plunge deeper into your calling, your assignment, your purpose, and you're going to be better than me. I didn't have the luxury of having someone to mentor me, to train me. I just bumped onto everything. I tried, it was a trial and error. But if I am here to just, collapse the time and make sure that there's an acceleration, that what I learned in 10 years, in 15 years, I can be able to give it to you in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year. That means we are collapsing the time and we are accelerating your growth. So you have the potential to be way better than me. So don't copy me. Don't copy anyone. Be you. All right. And I know that sometimes it's the hardest thing to do for so many people, but I want to assure you, the moment you accept to be who you are supposed to be, It might seem boring. It might seem like maybe no one is going to need it, but I will tell you, everyone needs what you have. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but there are people that just are assigned to you, or you are assigned to them. You are going to help them, and they need your service. So don't just sit there and say, you know what, I don't think anyone will need this service. Someone will actually need that service. Okay? And I usually say that one of our greatest enemies to any kind of accomplishment in our purpose and assignment is our own allegiance to our own plans. Okay, we have our own plans, and so we are not flexible. That is why whenever I pray, by the way, it can be even about my personal life. It can be about anything. When I was praying for, before I even got married, when I was praying for my marriage, when I was praying for the business, when I was praying for the training institute, when I was praying whatever it is, I usually say that, God, these are the plans that I have laid down as a man. These are the plans I have laid down, but not according to my will, but according to your will, because your will is higher than me. God's ways are higher than our ways. So I want to be able to tap into his ways. And how do I tap into his ways? By being flexible, by knowing that, yes, I have to plan. I'm not going to just wake up without a plan for the day. I'm going to have my to-do list. I'm going to try and plan for the month. I will plan for the year. But am I going to be rigid about what I have planned? No, I will still take it before God and say that not according to my will, but according to your will. Can you guide me? And maybe God is going to bring so many destiny helpers. Maybe God is going to accelerate some certain phases. Maybe God is going to, say, do it differently. Do it, and maybe some things are going to be delayed, but it is his will. Some things are going to be quickened. It is his will. One of the things that fails us most of the times, we want to stick to what we have planned. We have been told you have to go to school after primary, after secondary, and then after college or tertiary institution, then get married or marry, have children, and then just live a mediocre life. Okay, that is what we have been told, and so many of us, by the way, we have stuck to that plan. Okay, we have executed that plan, and we are rigid to that plan, and we don't have any flexibility in us. I usually give an example of myself. That the time that I've grown up in a very poor, I come from a very humble, not even just humble, but poor background, because humble sometimes feels like it's, just there in the middle, a neutral thing. No, I come from total poverty, okay? And I usually say that I could have been the kind that says that, let me follow the protocol and how it's supposed to be, that finish primary, go to secondary, go to university. Remember, I didn't even have money to take me through. I was being sent home all the time, and life was just not good. Life was just not easy, I was looking at my children. Ariella was doing her midterm, and I'm just looking at her, and she can even tell me, oh, mommy, pray for me, and I hold her hands, and I want her to have a good breakfast. I want her to have the settledness in the mind, even if in the morning, the morning drill and how hard it can be, you're telling her, do this, lift your back, do this, and you're seeing her mind is unsettled, and you're like, you know what, I want to have your mind settled, because your midterm is going to contribute to your end of term, and I want you to perform well. I need you to perform well. So you see that it's a totally different kind of life. In my time, even if my mother loved me so much, but she had no means, she would barely look at me in the face when I am living at home, because there is nothing. There is no money to give me. There is no food to give me. So I have to go, and she knows I'm going to spend the whole day at school, and I'm going to be hungry, and eventually when I come back, I don't even think that the food will be enough that has been left for me to eat. So I should have said that, no, I'm tired of a bad life. I'm tired of poverty. So let me just follow the procedure and how it's supposed to be. Let me finish my primary, secondary, maybe campus. I didn't even have money to take me to campus. Let me branch off and do business. I should have said that, now that I've not been able to go to campus first time, that means I am doomed. Okay. That means, then what is the next step? The next step now for me was supposed to be maybe marriage. Now I failed to go to campus. There's no money. So instead of branching off to business, maybe the easiest thing would have been get into marriage, because then you want someone else to take care of you. And then all of a sudden, what's the next best thing? Give birth to what? 12 children. What's the next best thing? You know, start the hustle, start the poverty again. You know, let the cycle, the vicious cycle of poverty start again. I mean, that would have been the worst nightmare that would have happened in my life. But when I decided to branch off to business and, you know, work for some time, then come back to campus, you realize that it's not a linear line. It is a line that is filled with zigzag. And even when I am done with campus and I am thinking that, you know what, I don't think I'm at campus, okay, I don't have a job, the business is actually down because I've been, you know, putting all my attention in studying, and I don't have a clear plan of what tomorrow holds. And I'm here saying, you know what, I don't want to be employed. I actually want to start my own business. And someone is asking me, have you ever seen anyone? I want to start a private practice. And people are telling me, what is a private practice? In Uganda, we've not had a private practice. We've only had that in the lawyers, you know, the law firms, but not in counseling, not in therapy, not in coaching. And I'm like, I am going to start it, you know. So you realize that when you put your plans, when you submit your plans into the plans of God and the perfect will of God and the purpose of God for your life, He is able to direct your path. He is able to direct your path, okay? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, okay? Lean not on your own understanding, but in everything acknowledge Him and He will direct your path. I guess that's exactly what I did. And He directed my path. He directed my path. That even when the only chance that I had to even begin was to be given 2 minutes on radio, I was like, I'm taking the 2 minutes on radio. And guess what? I am going to research. I am going to read. I am going to make sure that I give value. Let me tell you, the world knows value. When we see value, we know what value is. When we hear value, we know what value is. 2 minutes on radio, okay? And people could see that I was delivering value. After 2 minutes, they're like, you know what, let's give you an hour. It's in the night. And I'm still giving value. People are listening. People are calling in. People are asking questions. I am answering questions. You know, I should have taken the quick way. I should have gone and looked for a job. I didn't look for a job. And before you know it, I'm on TV. Before you know it, I am booking my own clients, okay? I'm deciding my own price. I am deciding that now a session is 30,000, a session is 50,000, a session is 100,000, a session is 200,000, a session is 300,000. I am going from one level to another. I am deciding, but I am constantly in a battle, by the way, of not just pledging allegiance to my plans, but aligning my plans with God's plans. And every single prayer I have prayed, I'm like, God, not according to my will, okay? Even when it came to marriage, I would not mention a name and I'm like, oh, God, I want so-and-so. I want so-and-so. You know those things of being in a relationship and then you're so rigid, you want that person. If you don't get that person, you're going to be so heartbroken. I was like, you know what, God, I have come to a place where I know that people have their own decisions and they know what they want and what they do not want. But as for me, I remember I used to be on the bypass. Now I have grown to a place, or I've started my own private practice without an office. Yes, and people are paying, to come see me. People are paying for speaking engagements. No one, it's not written on my face that I don't have an office yet back then. And all of a sudden, I land an office in a certain, what is it called? Kasolia in Luganda. It's somewhere, at the roof. In someone's where you can barely even, walk in. I would bend my head to make sure that I'm walking into my office because it was a squeezed up thing. It's up on right where the iron sheets are. It is very hot, and that is where I would welcome people to sit there. And guess what? That is where I bought my first car. So now I've been able to rent a good apartment. I have a car, but I am praying according to God's will. I'm like, God, I do not want to deviate from your will, even when it comes to marriage, because there are so many people that were chasing me. There's so many people that wanted, a piece of me, that, oh, we see her, oh, she's beautiful. We see her on TV. We see her. When they see you, you become like a flower. And I was like, God, I see so many people that want me. I see so many people that have put in their, whatever it is, their bids, their qualification, their whatever it is. But I want a man that comes from you, because I want to serve you for the rest of my life. And I don't want a man that is going to pull me down, that is going to hinder me from serving you or from practicing my purpose or doing whatever I am doing. So I'm not mentioning any name. I don't want a particular person, that this is the person that I want. No, I want your will to be done in my life, and I don't mind how long it takes, by the way. So I would be on the bypass, because the office was in Namirembe. I would connect to the bypass, and then I would pray, like from the time I hit the bypass and until I have parked. I would even stay in the car and pray, and I'm believing God, So you realize that when you don't just stick, okay, to what you have planned, and you align your plans and say, God, take over, He will find a way. Let me tell you, He will communicate to you through dreams. He will communicate through you through people. He will align things, and things will start lining up themselves. And let me tell you, He will give you the responses that you need. So it just doesn't matter when you heed to God's call. At one point, you will have to be able to heed to His call, okay? And I don't want us to sit in passivity and just if you need something, go ahead and get it. If you need something, go ahead and get it. There is no day in my life where I sat down and waited for things to fall on my lap. That has never happened. Like everything I have literally gotten, it has been through fighting, it has been through presence, it has been through, me wanting it, needing it, praying for it, fasting for it. So you realize that, so everything that I get is very valuable. Why? Because I was not passive getting it, okay? I was not passive getting into my calling. I was not passive getting into the private practice. I was not passive getting into mentorship. I was not passive getting into whatever it is that God has been able to deliver into my hands. Has been that if I want it, I will go get it. I will pray for it. I will fast for it. I will show God that I need it. I will submit my plans into God's. So I don't need you to be passive. So many of us have been so passive in our lives, and it's just, you see, even when it comes to wisdom, that you go get it. You go get it, okay? You lack a skill, go get it. You lack wisdom, pray to God that gives out generously, and He will still need you to go and get it from wherever. He will give you the godly wisdom, but you also need to get the knowledge, you also need to get the skill, you also need to get the application, and then you have to have the power to execute. So there is no room for you being passive. So as we even end the year and begin another year or begin more years to come, I want you to step out of a place of being passive in your own life, being passive in your own marriage, being passive with your own children, being passive with your own home, being passive when it comes to your calling, when it comes to your work, even if it is your job. Being passive is not a place where you are supposed to be. You are supposed to ask yourself, what do I need? Can I go out and get it? Okay? What do I lack? Can I go do an inventory? Okay, a self-inventory. What do you lack? Okay? If it's something that you lack and there is someone that is performing so well in that industry, in that sector, go and get it. Okay? So please, let's stop being passive. Okay? You have been made for more, and you cannot get more by just being passive. You can only get more. Some of us, by the way, have to be able to step out from our comfort zones in order to see the more that we really want. Okay? Even if it's about starting a business, you have to be able to step out of your comfort and say, you know what, I know it's not easy, but let me plunge into the depth of this. Let me start it anyway and see where it's taking me. For most of the founders, the CEO, the business owners, they will tell you that they did not come from a place or they had everything figured out. No, they just stopped being passive and said, you know what, let's take the bull by its horns and let's step into the deep waters and see, let's swim against the tide. Let's swim against the current. I hope that you can be able to do it. Okay, so the beginning of wisdom, even the Bible talks about it, is this: get it, get wisdom. Okay, and you know, what have you been afraid of? Because so many of us are afraid of so many things, afraid of failure, afraid of other people laughing at you. That is people's opinion. It does not. Because if I fear people's opinion, that means I will never take a step. And if I never take a step, I will never mount to anything. I will be at the same level. And that means I will not be at the same level. I will be going down. Okay? So ask yourself, I might as well take a step and fail, take another step and fail until I can be able to nail something. And then I will look back with a lot of gratefulness in my heart that I was actually able to just not be passive, to not just look on, to not just look at people. And people, by the way, are not even attentive to your issue. Do you know everyone has their own problems? Everyone has their own problems. They're carrying their own baggages. They're carrying their own burdens, okay? And it's only... I will still say it, a stupid person that is busy carrying a baggage and is laughing at another person who is trying to make headway. If anything, you should be able to ask yourself, this person is fighting to break through. Can I be able to join them? Okay? This person is fighting to make headway. Can I be able to join them? Can I rub shoulders with them? Can I ask them how they did it? So if you see anyone that is actually laughing, that is on the fence, that is looking at people who are trying to penetrate and make headway and is laughing, that is a failure. That is a total failure. So, are you going to be afraid to be laughed at by failures? You know, there is no one that has made it in life, or no one, because no one has made it in life. We are all on a journey to try and make it. But I will tell you, anyone that has reached somewhere at this level, whenever I see someone that is struggling to even start up a business, the best thing I can do for them is pray for them. When I see someone trying to create content, trying to start up something, the best thing I can pray, and I usually make these prayers, and I'm like, you know what? So for some people that I even actually don't know, I look at their content, and I'm like, God, give them the energy to stick in there. Give them let them not give up. You know, let them keep going. And you know, when I come back next year and I'm seeing you and I'm like, yeah, thank God. Thank God this person has not given up, has not aborted their dream, has not aborted their assignment, has not aborted their purpose, has not aborted their business. Okay? But most of us, we are busy stepping in, stepping out, stepping in, stepping out. We want easy things. There is nothing worthwhile that is going to be easy. Even John Maxwell says it, that everything worthwhile is an uphill task. Everything worthwhile is an uphill task. Okay? So if you want easy things, you are going to be the kind that is on the fence, that is going to laugh at other people while they are making headway, and then you will be the one testifying on their behalf and saying, do you know that I saw that girl starting? Do you know that, there are people who are saying that about me. There are people who are saying that about even some of the people that are in the mentorship. Do you know, I saw him starting. I saw her starting. Do you know, and they're speaking on your behalf, but for them, they have nothing to show for it, okay? So I don't want you to be put down by anyone that is, you know, saying something, has all the time in the world to throw stones at you, throw words at you. That means they're actually not in the journey. They are not in the race. You are the one that is in the race. So keep running and keep going, okay? So, and then let's understand the importance of wisdom, because ignorance is very expensive. Ignorance is very, very expensive. If the Bible says that the beginning of wisdom is this, go and get it. That is the beginning of wisdom. Okay? Pray for it, go and get it. Pray for it, go and get it. Pray to God who gives it, go and get it. Okay? So, if ignorance is too expensive, that means you remaining in a place of passivity about acquiring knowledge, about acquiring wisdom, about personal growth, about understanding how to go about imposter syndrome, about how, as in whatever it is, just ask yourself what is lacking, okay? What is lacking? But if you don't know what is lacking, still, it seems like ignorance, and sometimes people say ignorance is bliss. I don't think ignorance is bliss. It's just too expensive. But this is the problem, is you never know in the short run. You will always you wait until it is late that you look back and you are so pained, okay? You are so hurt and you regret your decisions and you're like, I wish I took a stand when I still had the strength and I had to do it, okay? So let's put our plans out there and let's write them down. Let's be very conscious about them, and let's know that you know, so many times we have unconscious expectations. I don't know whether this will come out in the way that I feel it in my mind. We have unconscious expectations, okay? And so most of the times when we do what we know how to do without putting our plans in, for example, let me just give an example just to make sure that I soften this. I'll just give my own example. You know, how I had the dream that I am going to be successful, okay, that I'm going to be doing some of these things. Before I started doing them, I spoke about them, I saw them. That means I had expectations, okay? So now, if I didn't take time to put down my plans and to make sure that I know that people plan, but it's God's purpose that prevails, and I align my plans with God's plans so that his plans can prevail in my life, this is what would have happened. Because if I had not seen those things be fulfilled 1 year, 2 years, I would have gotten so tired, I would have given up, and that means my expectations, I would not have met my expectations. But consciously, subconsciously, they are actually there. I have expectations of being successful. So many of us have expectations. We have already created the expectations before you even start working, before you even look for a job, even before you get married, you know that this is going to be a success. Okay? Now, the moment we know that, yes, this is what we have planned for, we are planning to make sure that this is successful. But remember, there is one that sees things that we have not yet seen. That knows, that proclaims the end basing on the beginning. So if we are able to align our plans to his plans, that means he's actually going to give us a bigger picture. He's actually going to give us peace for what we have not yet received or gotten into, but while we are still, and the power to pursue what we have not yet gotten. And before you know it, the end result is going to be way more. It is going to surprise you that the time that you have moved, you have received way more than you hoped that you would be able to receive if you had planned in your own plans with your own kind of money. And I think Tim usually puts it so well. I don't remember how he phrases it, but he usually says, and he usually tells me, and I learned this from him, that I do not plan for my life according to the money that I actually have or think I am going to get. Because then I will be limiting God. Because my expectations are bigger, okay? Subconsciously, I have bigger expectations. It's possible that my money right now is actually small. It is not going to give me my expectations. But if I'm able to believe, that is how I can be able to finish a month or 3 months, and I have spent more than I thought I would actually ever get, or that I thought that I actually had. And so I'm like, this can only be God. This can only be God. How many of us, you clearly have calculated the monies that you have used in a month, and it is more than your salary. It's more than what you earn, okay? And so you're like, okay, so where did the extra money come? And you actually cannot point a finger at where the extra money definitely didn't fall from heaven, okay? But, you know, so many things happened. You were able to hit bigger goals, and you're asking yourself, how did I hit these bigger goals? Okay? Why? Because while you were planning, you did not just plan and you're like, you know what, according to what I have, this is the only thing, you know, so I am going to live small. I am going to limit myself, I'm going to hinder myself, I'm going to just limit myself, I'm just going to cocoon myself. Do you know such people live a very miserable life, very miserable life? And I will tell you, because so many of us that have grown from poor backgrounds, by the way, we have tendencies of limiting God, okay? Because we want to plan according to what we have, okay? So we're like, you know what? I only have 500,000, so I don't think I'm going to get any money from anywhere, so I better plan everything. My food, my medical, my everything, my transport, everything I'm going to, and I am just going to cocoon myself in there and just, you know, and just be miserable because that is what I have. And God is saying that, can you put your plans, align your plans with my plans? Because you plan so much, but my purpose, you know, prevails, okay? So if I can be able to put my plans in his plans and be able to, you know what? There is choir practice, there is church I need to go to, there is, I mean, it's possible that it doesn't seem like I can afford these things, but I'm going to loosen up a bit. I'm going to think outside of the box. I'm going to think, what more can I do, okay? What more can I do? And sometimes I've promised people, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually going to sort this or do this, and then but I'm speaking, and in that moment, it doesn't seem like I have everything that it takes to sort it out. But while I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what more can I do? Okay? Where can I go? So my brain is functioning outside of the box, and so I'm able to attract more abundance. I'm able to do more. I'm able to commit more hours. I'm able to book more to book more in my schedule. And all of a sudden, I have what it takes. Why? Because I opened my mind and let God reign. I just didn't cocoon myself. Oh my God, I think this is the worst season of my life. I think things are just not going to work. I hope that you can be able to open up yourself and, you know, having plans is not bad. Plan and plan and plan. But the unwillingness to surrender those plans to God is unwise. The unwillingness to surrender those plans to God is very unwise. Okay? So I need you to be able to know that everything about God is going to prevail. But plan and surrender. I think I was telling the mentorship people, my mentorship class last Friday, I was telling them that I'm not perfect, and no one is perfect on earth. But the best thing I have learned to live, or the best way I have learned to live, is a surrendered life, a fully surrendered life. I do not retain, I do not keep everything. I do not want to control everything. I surrender, I let go, because that is who I was. I was very, you know, I was very limited, you know, because I lived in constant fear, even about money. You know, you come from a poor background, you're the firstborn, others are looking at you, and you sometimes feel overwhelmed, until I learned to let go and live a surrendered life. By the way, everything started aligning in my life, because then I could think more, I could do more, I could, you know, I could think outside the box, I could plan more. Why? Because I was not gripped by fear every time. The moment you are gripped by fear, you are not thinking, you are not planning, you are not doing, you are not going an extra mile. The moment you live a surrendered life, you know, a person who is living a surrendered life is a person who can help more, is a person who can speak more into people's lives, is a person who can live beyond their plans and their expectations and beyond their finances. I hope that you can be that kind of person, okay? And when it comes to purpose, we talked about David at some point, but remember Jonah, okay? When he was sent to Nineveh to go and preach, and all of a sudden he finds his way, you know, because he's like, you're sending me to a wrong place, let me just go to a different place. You realize that whatever he did, or running away from the call of God, the assignment of God, he actually ended up exactly where he was supposed to end up. Because, I mean, the lake or the ocean had to shake. You know, they had to even, do the voting, you know, and, you know, cast him into the lake, go into the belly of the fish, you know. The fish takes him to the land, and the cycle begins again. Just like I said, it's better you take heed it's better you say yes and say, you know what, I'm just going to, you know, to believe God, and I'm going to place one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to walk into his purpose, and I'm going to plan, but I'm going to, you know, put my plan into his plans. And so all of a sudden, he actually had to get to where, he had to circle back and go to where he was supposed to go. But so many of us are actually doing that. We are doing exactly that by procrastinating, by thinking, I will do it tomorrow, when I get more money, when I get, there's someone who signed up for the mentorship recently, and he made me laugh because he just, he got tired, and so he sent me a message and told me that, you know what, I have 500,000 and I'm signing up for the for the mentorship. That is all I have. I'm signing up for the mentorship because I have followed this mentorship for the past 5 years, ever since it was even cheap, but I couldn't still afford, you know, because we started at $100, and so it was like, it was at $100 I couldn't afford. It went to $200 I couldn't afford. It went to $300 I can't afford. Now I said I am tired, and I am just writing to you by faith. I have 500,000. I have been keeping my money, and I am signing up for the mentorship. So I want to see you. And indeed, I just texted him and told him that, you know what, come to office. So he came to office, gave me his money. The one that he has piled, he gave me his money. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's start. Actually, it was a Tuesday, and I was like, we have class in the night. We'll be on Google Meet, okay? And on Friday, we have class. So let's dive in. And so he was happy because I was like, his dream has been fulfilled. Just imagine if he had stayed in his cocoon, you know, looking for money that he had no way of actually, you know, putting it together until it was the right amount that it was supposed. That means, I mean, I would not have given him a chance. But the reason as to why I gave him a chance is because he came out and said, you know what, no, I've been following, I've watched every YouTube video, I have watched this ever since it started, and I'm not staying behind. This is what I have, and I am signing out. And I'm like, come join us, grow. For me, it's not even about the money, it's about the commitment, the heart to want and do it. So do you see the people that plan and they're like, you know what, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to say something about it. I am going to approach her. For most of the people that are in the mentorship, they're like, I wrote to her, but I didn't think she'll respond to me. I don't know what people think I do in life, or my kind of life. So most of them are usually surprised. They're like, she responded. She texted back, you know. Why? Because I am here for the people, all right? So the people that have taken a step, let me tell you, their lives have never been the same. And we have all taken chances, different chances. I know that you've taken chances on different things. And you clearly know that, by the way, there's a time I hosted, I think it will air sometime to come, maybe 2 weeks to come. And this gentleman tells me, I didn't even have money to go to school. But there is a way. One semester would end, another would end, another would end. Like, my money will come from different sources. I was just believing. I would do exams without even paying. The professors would allow me to do exams without even paying. And I knew that I didn't have, my mother didn't have what it takes. She was out of job. My father didn't have what it took to even take me through campus, or even give me just tuition for 1 semester. But I said, no, I am not sitting home. So he told me, I spent 5 years doing a course of 3 years. But I am so glad that I hoped against hope to make sure that I actually go through campus. Now, when you see such people, there are people that plan, but they don't have what it takes, but they planned and said, you know what, we have to finish campus. And all of a sudden, one thing leads to another. They're begging here, they're asking here, there's someone is helping them there, they are serving there, they're giving value here. And before you know it, 5 years have elapsed, they are done with school, they are working, they're earning good money, and they're helping their family, okay? But some of us, when we see that life is not moving, there is a way we crawl back into our shells, okay? Like the tortoise, and we just give up on life altogether. Do not give up on life. Whatever plan you have could seem like very, very small, you know. Just look at my mother. If she had just said that, you know what, my plan, the best I can do for my children is to just feed them and get medicine whenever we would fall sick. By the way, she would not even have money for medicine. She would literally borrow. She would say, you know what, go to Msao, tell her to give me Dawa Queen. I will, you know, or chloroquine or whatever it is, you know, we will pay later. Just imagine someone. And then it's like, okay, the best we can do is water because we don't have juice. We've been told to drink a lot. You know those medicine they will tell you have to drink a lot, and then some of them they will tell you to drink milk, and you'll be like, we don't have the milk, but we have the water. We are going to boil water and we are going to drink water. Okay, now if she had said that, you know what, the best I can do is actually just give them food and, you know, and just live that mediocre life. No, her plan was that her children will go through school. That was her plan. Even when she didn't have money, even when she has never seen a blackboard, even when she didn't have a job, her plan, okay? Now that shows that we should never limit ourselves and say that, you know what, I am planning according to what I have. She had nothing, okay? But I will tell you, our last born has finished law school. He's practicing now. Her plans came to pass. Not because she had what it took, but she put her plans in God's plans. You know, that woman taught us how to pray, taught us how to seek God's face, taught us how to not give up, how to be resilient, okay, how to have nothing and behave like we have everything in the world. The contentment that she showed us and taught us. And she did the best that she could with what she had. And now her last born was graduating, okay? So you realize that some of us are limiting ourselves too much. You've even studied, you've finished school, but you are still limiting yourself. The limiting beliefs that you have in your brain, okay, are just limiting you. And I hope that you can be able to just deviate from that, okay? Say yes to God's call on your life. Plan, do not live without planning, but surrender your plans to God's plans. Pray, okay, and do his purpose, do the thing that you know how to do. Serve, give value, okay? And let me tell you, when you give value in the world is just looking for value. That is all. The world is simply looking for one thing: value. And I know that God has not brought you this far to just abandon you. No. Whenever I talk about purpose, there is no way I can differentiate purpose with God, because God is the beginner of purpose, is the starter of purpose, and he's the sustainer of purpose. You have a purpose. There is something, a special thing, a gift, a talent, a calling that is on your life. Until you say, you know what, let me be mentored in order for me to actually practice my calling, practice my purpose. Let me get the wisdom that I need to get. Let me get, these days, even if you don't just sign up for any other mentorship, even if you just decided to plunge into YouTube, into Google, into whatever it is, you know, because, for some of us, that is what we did. We learned on the job. We threw ourselves in the deep end and started swimming, and we are where we are by the grace of God. But I will tell you, practicing saying yes to God's purpose for my life and God's assignment for my life, my whole life is hinging on one thing: my purpose, my calling, my talent, my gifting, my assignment on earth. Nothing else. Nothing else. If you've ever looked at me and said, how does she do it? That is my secret. Me saying yes to God's calling on my life. Me planning and surrendering my plans to his plans. And he has ended up having more than what I could have for myself. You know, opening up doors that I would never open myself, okay? And taking me to places that I would never have taken myself, giving me happiness that I would never give to myself, helping so many people that I would never help if I was that Hilda that was timid, that was limited, that was blocking herself left, right, and center. When I learned to open up and surrender to God's plans about my life, let me tell you, everything changed, everything transformed in my life. And that is what I wish for you. That is what I wish for you. And if you've not yet discovered what your purpose is, or unveiled, because we don't discover, we unveil it because it is already inside of you, come. let's have a sit down. Let's discover what your purpose is. Let's know what your assignment is. Let's know what your calling is, what your gifting is, what your talent is, you know, what you are gifted with. Let's maximize on that. Let me tell you, let's monetize that. Let's give let's give as much value as we can. Your life will never remain the same. And you can do this while you still have a job. Okay? So it doesn't mean that you should quit your job. You can still have your job and you can still unveil your purpose and your gifting and your talent and monetize it and build a personal brand and do what God expects you to do. And after some time, by the way, you can transition. I have mentored people that have jobs and they have transitioned into fully practicing their purpose. Okay? So surrender to God's plan, and I know that He is going to help you in ways that you have never thought about in your life. I've prayed for you and I'm still believing for you, and I know that the greatest joy you will ever get is all within your assignment. The moment you do that, your life will never be the same again. God bless you.